here. Mattern running down. Beals at first with the stretch. The ball beats her. It's just, where is Beals' right foot? Is it up in the air?
Well, last night in one of our championship games, replay took over the conclusion for about 20 minutes with the game hanging in the balance. And eventually, the home team got the call and the win.
I have not great eyesight, so probably the...
Her eyesight's pretty good.
Oh, I don't know. I'm up here with glasses, still squinting. But I don't know if there's enough to overturn this. I think the call stands.
Very good. Bella Mattern is out, and officially Ohio loses the challenge. Has one more challenge to play with at this point in order to keep alive. So the inning ends. Ohio gets a runner as far as second base. And now we go to the bottom of the second with a score 2-0 in favor of Austintown Little League. The Little League Softball Regional Championships continue tonight on ESPN after we're done here. Out to California for the West Regional title game at 5 o'clock. Northern California, Southern California. Then at 7, and the Mid-Atlantic Championship and the nightcap at 9 o'clock. Billings, Montana, and Bend, Oregon. For trips to Greenville, North Carolina. The championship, the World Series, which begins a week from Sunday. The winner of this game will play in the very first game of that World Series. And if it wins, it comes back Monday night in the winner's bracket. If it loses, it gets a day off. Comes back Tuesday. Tough tickets punched so far. Most countries outside the United States have already registered their representatives. You in Texas, defending champions, won yesterday. Winterville, North Carolina, and Milford, Connecticut have reps, as well as North Carolina has 2 representatives from its state this year. And that was a situation a few years back with the Central Regional here. To the Iowa second we go, 4, 5, and 6, and the birthday girl in the leadoff. Well, you ask her dad what kind of celebration is in store for her, and he says, well, depends on whether we win or lose. You win, it's big.
Spoken like a dad.
Going the opposite way, dropping in. Iowa's second hit of the game, Hannah Haxton. She's got a huge bat in this tournament. She is now 5 for 10.
Well, this is the matchup that I'm going to be circling throughout this entire game today. Hamley against Haxton. The best pitcher in this regional versus the best hitter at the plate. And strokes this thing down the line right in front of Fisher in right field. You just kind of hear the pop of the bat, a little bit different coming off of her bat.
Now Cassidy Howard, who had a 2-run hit in that win against Ohio the other day, going to the left, and it caught. Chance for a double play, and the long throw is going to get away. Nice catch out in left field by Amati Beardsley, but on her throw back to first base, it's an overthrow. Will go as an error and allow Hannah Haxton to advance.
This is a great hit here from Howard. Nice catch like you're talking about and left by Beardsley, but just unnecessary throw here. And we're talking about how sure-handed Tori Greathouse has been at first base, and she just misreads that. Throw is definitely offline, but very catchable ball for her at first.
Which is unusual. Ella Woodley batting in the 6th spot. Runner at second. Almost tagged her there. Ball 1. Temperatures mid to high 80s around game time. Headed to 90, maybe 92 before we conclude. Lightning and lots of rain and wind earlier today, but that was long gone by about noon. Oh, 2 balls, no strikes. Reckon Moss, the right fielder, would bat next. Kelly hitting in the 6th spot. early in the game. Are you taking a 3-0 or are you swinging?
I think first time through the lineup, maybe take. You're looking at the best pitcher in the regional. Down 2, Iowa need a couple runs on base to put together a rally.
Taking all the way, 3-1. Although Eric Clark, who's coaching at third base and is the manager, wouldn't agree. First base coach is Gina Beals. Tyler Moss is in the dugout. By the way, the first base coach, Gina Beals, I think we show you some pictures of her going way back when she played in a Little League tournament. I told her we quoted the year 1987. She said, I think that's generous.
Oh, that's good stuff.
We'll see if we'll be able to tell when we see it later. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Mila Hamley has battled back from 3-0.
You can tell all of the foul balls against the right-handed hitters versus Mila Hamley going to the right side just because of the velocity that she brings. She's been clocked at 60 miles an hour. I think they said she's hit 61 in her young career. And every single hitter that we've seen against her has been late.
And after being down 3 balls, she gets a strikeout, and that's her second.
She's so tough when she elevates just like this. A little bit. That's all she needed. Full count. Of course, you don't want to elevate too much, but you have a hitter in Woodley who's swinging the bat. She's in swing mode. You just go, okay, let's rear back and throw it. You could just hear the pop of the mitt.
May have gotten a generous call on 3-0 for a strike, and then after second strike and foul ball, gets the strikeout. 2 outs now in the second inning for Iowa. Brecken Moss's sister, or rather cousin Aubrey's a gymnast at Southern Utah. Brecken batting in the 7th spot. Her great-grandmother, by the way, speaking of Brecken, the Iowa High School Player of the Year in 1948. That's 75 years ago. Ball and 2 strikes.
When you come back from a 3-0 count as a pitcher and you get the strikeout, that fuels you. There is nothing better. It just kind of tells you, okay, I'm in it here. I'm not going to surrender just because you go to the 3-0 count, and you can tell right away firing strikes.
Right now we have the shadows covering home plate. Is that a factor for the batter or not?
It will be here in a couple of minutes. I think not quite yet. By the time the ball is entering the hitting zone, maybe still a little bit of sun, but once that shadow creeps out more, it'll be definitely advantage pitcher.
Moss to center field and caught. Basket catch by Seneca Coates. Hit well, but inning over. After 2, a third of the way through, 2-0 in favor of Austintown Little League. At Dix, Kenzie Fowler, All-American at the University of Arizona. Jim Barber with behind home plate seats, and good ones too. Well, a pitcher's duel anticipated. Right now it's been one where there have been a lot of hits. Ohio 2-4-1. Line totals 0-2-2 for Iowa. And Gianna Hoops starts the top of the 3rd for Austintown. Ohio record of 5-1. Winners of 5 straight. Little blooper. Heading to center field. Great hustle. But the ball finds itself to the grass. It's a base hit all the way now. With the ball loose on the second base is Gianna Hoops. Probably the kind of mistakes you don't expect in a championship game, do you?
And we've seen a couple of those in the last couple of innings from the Iowa defense. The 5th hit here for Ohio. Laying out in center field. Ryan Woodley just can't come up with it. And taking advantage. Every 60 feet matters. You get the dab, you get the smiles, but against Iowa, every single extra step that you can take is going to be a separator in a championship.
Iowa now has 3 errors in the game. And we go back to the point that you made earlier, which is significant. How does the layoff affect what we're seeing today?
I'm telling you, in sports especially, you see it in postseason, right? A team gets hot and you just keep rolling, and sometimes when you sit around, it's not what you want to do. It's very hard to go out and replicate that same type of game energy, and you're probably going to go out and practice a little bit, stretch it out, keep your body loose, but how can you get yourself back in that game mode and get amped up?
Lexi Petrilla with an 0-2 count. Lays off the rise ball from Haxton, 1-2. Anna Haxton got into trouble in the first with a couple of hits and an error. Now runner at second base and nobody out in the third. Pitcher's best friend, throws a punch out, 1 out.
First strikeout of the game for Hannah Haxton. Righty on lefty here. All of her pitches kind of naturally tail as a curveball. To me, that kind of looked like a backdoor curve. It's just a fastball. It's just how her mechanics throw. But when she's throwing to right-handed hitters, she really likes to pound the outside part of the plate. And then when she's facing left-handed hitters, she likes to pound the outside part of the plate. So using arm side against the lefties.
Seneca Coates lays one down. Safe! Runners now at first and third. In the meantime, Coates down to second. Taking full advantage of the play at third base.
This is so pretty. Just dropping it down. Doesn't even separate her hands, just soft with the barrel. Addison Haddle trying to do her best coming out from behind the plate. A good throw, but too much speed down the line from Seneca Coates. I love watching her in that leadoff spot.
Who has 2 more hits today and has become the top hitter in this regional tournament. Eric Clark is going to challenge right now the play at first base. Ohio has implemented a challenge, unsuccessful. So they've got 1 in the bank. You get 2 unless you use the 2 up, and they are not good to go, and therefore you're out unless we get to extra innings. So no problem with Gianna Hoops at third. Here's where the difficulty is, or the question is Seneca Coates out or safe? Call on the field is safe by first base umpire Michael Miller.
Yeah, that's the right call.
Yeah, really no question, is there? And first base umpire Michael Miller and home plate umpire Sean Niddle are in the dugout reviewing, and the new policy for the Little League is home plate umpire goes on replay and the base umpire in question goes as well.
Hey, keep the tunes coming.
Don't they know this is the biggest game of the year for them?
You know, when the DJ is spinning and the Macarena is going, you just got to let the rhythm take you.
And we have a communication there between. Another look, but it seemed fairly obvious.
Well, it's also worth noting where Ella Woodley at second base, where her foot was, it was back behind the base at the back part. If she's at the front part of the base, that's going to be a closer play. But because of where she's positioned, it allows the ball to travel just a little bit more, and allows Seneca Coates to do what she does best, and that's get down the line.
Didn't take too long for the review. Oh, Iowa loses the challenge, so now Iowa and Ohio have lost their challenges to this point. That's Matt Hambley, the manager and coach at third base for Austintown Little League. He's had a good week of managing with his wife Darren in the dugout. Everybody's getting along very well, as if that would be a problem. And it's a family affair with Mila pitching for Austintown. Line drive, caught third base. No chance for a double play, but that's a huge out, though, as Ariana Potter handles. And now we have 2 outs in the third.
Ohio continues to be aggressive on first pitch. Ariana Potter at third, quick reaction. It's a good job by Hoops over there at third base. Not too big a lead, especially with less than 2 outs. You never want to have too much aggression when you're leading off at third. You want to keep it very conservative. You don't want to have that double play be out at third base. It's a big out here for the Iowa defense.
Back to the pitcher. And Haxton able to get out of a huge jam with runners at second and third. This might be important. Through 3 innings, Ohio's left 5. And despite 6 hits, has but a 2-0 lead. On to the last of the third. Hamley's third full count of the 9 innings. Base hit up the middle. Third hit of the game for Iowa. Tying run comes to the plate with 1 out in the third.
Not the best at-bat that we've seen thus far in this game for Iowa. They've got to utilize this at-bat and use it as a spark. That's a gritty at-bat, full count, driving this ball right up the middle. And to be honest, I feel like that's the best hit that we've seen off of Mila Hamley in quite a while.
Really?
A couple of games, yeah. She squared that up well.
Brian Woodley in the 10th spot, the center fielder, had a good game against Hamley the other day at the plate. 2 for 3. Waves at that one, strike 1. Iowa coming in, batting .323 in just 3 games of tournament play. You like SpaghettiOs, by the way?
Gosh, I forgot about SpaghettiOs. Wow, they are good.
Long foul there, 0-2.
Not in my diet anymore, but I think about it. When you're little growing up, sure, you bet. You can get creative. It's simple.
Good for mom to fix, too, right? Easy. Riley Beals will bat next, and then Ariana Potter as we turn the lineup over. Good waist pitch by Hamley, 1 and 2. Mila Hamley, 12 years of age. Idol's Montana Phelps, and apparently a hitter. The Little League Community Heroes Recognition Program helps to honor those dedicated individuals who not only volunteer their time at local Little League programs, also contribute in other ways to improve their communities. To learn more or to nominate a community hero, visit littleleague.org/communityheroes. Now Iowa's got a threat going as Matt Hamlin and his conversation with Sean Little is over. Eric Clark with some instructions to Riley Beals.
Well, you can see it clearly hits her, and you were watching Coach Hamley. I think he was having to make a lifetime decision of whether he was going to challenge this or not. And you only have one more challenge to go, only here in the third. A lot of ball left in this game. Chooses not to use the challenge. I think that was a smart move.
Yeah, probably the right move considering that we have a tight game right now, 2-0, and Iowa has base runners that could mount to scoring. Right now it's Lydia Clark at second. Ryan Woodley hit by a pitch at first, and Riley Beals to the plate. Ohio with a 5-game win streak coming in, facing an Iowa team that hasn't lost. Good championship matchup today in Whitestown, Indiana. And the Rye Dog stays alive. So what were some of your nicknames?
That's a great question. Growing up, they called me Big Red. I was usually the tallest on the team. I have red hair. Bring It On was a big movie at the time, so Big Red.
You like Big Red?
I didn't mind it. There's definitely worse things out there, so you take it, and your team just kind of make sure they choose it for you. You don't really have a choice when it comes to team sports. You're kind of going to be given your nickname. It's a big strikeout here from Mila Hamley. A little bit up in the zone, and you could just tell Beals behind it. She's late on this at 2 strikes. It's credit to that velocity that Mila continues to bring.
Mila has a strikeout in each of the 3 innings. Runners remain at first and second. And a wave and a miss there by Ariana Potter, batting in the 12th spot for Iowa. with the continuous batting order, and both managers really enjoy the change in the offensive lineups for Little League softball. Everybody who is rostered and at the ballpark will hit in order throughout the game. You're not required to play anybody defensively, but if you decide to change runners in an inning, it can come with 2 outs, courtesy runner for either the catcher or the pitcher. 1-1 pitch with 2 aboard. Inside corner, 1-2. What kind of location do you like here from Mila Hamlin?
I'm going upstairs. It's what she's been able to do with 2 strikes, expanding the zone. I'm going high heat.
Instead, she gets a call third. 2 in the inning. That's Darren Hamley. He's pretty fun.
Yeah, Mom is fired up. 4th strikeout here for Mila Hamley, just freezing Ariana Potter inside.
Let's take you to some of them. Like Barry Dingles in Austintown, Ohio. Hello, folks. Team Ohio well represented there, and ditto for that at Sam's Wedge Inn. Not the only places to watch this championship game. How about Jethro's BBQ, Johnston, Iowa, near Des Moines. Hello, folks. And there are several other places as well. Got it? Pretty competitive game going on again between these 2 teams, separated by 2 runs as we're halfway through and we approach the 4th inning.
Look, when the local teams get to the championship, you get to play on ESPN, and the community's going to come out and support. That is just so big for the sport of softball, wherever those communities are across the country. It's going to be a ripple effect for the next couple of years, because you have the ones that are, a little bit younger, kind of getting their attention. Like, oh, who's this team? The Little League team. They're making their way. They're in the finals. They're in the regionals. All of a sudden, they're in the Little League World Series, and you get some youngsters in that community saying, I want to play softball too. That looks fun. And that's what it's all about.
Good point. Anna Haxton now 35 pitches, 26 for strikes. Most of the hitters facing her put the ball into play. In this case, Bella Baumgart has a 1-1 count. Reached on a fielder's choice in the first. Toward left field. In play, not a problem. And an easy lead by Lydia Clark, 1 out.
It's a big out for Hannah Haxton. I feel like Bella Baumgart has been swinging maybe the best bat outside of Seneca Coates, who's that lefty slapper speedster. But in terms of a power hitter, I feel like Bella Baumgart has been that presence for Ohio. So that's a big out to start this inning.
At least 4 balls have gone to left field so far in this game. Couple of hits, couple of flyouts. Now Tori Greathouse. Oh. She went opposite field last time up. RBI single to left field. To second base. Not a problem for Ella Woodley. 2 outs in the Ohio 4th. Ohio has yet to go in order. Mila Hamlin will try to keep that going. She steps to the plate. Reached on a fielder's choice back in the first. The only 2 runs of the game so far came in the first.
A 3 up, 3 down inning here would be huge for Iowa. It feels like a very, pointed part of this game. They've had opportunities offensively where they've had runners on base just unable to capitalize and get that big inning like we saw Ohio have in the top of the first. But defense momentum can always lead to offensive momentum.
Iowa's offense hasn't been poor in this game. They do have 3 hits, but have left 4 on base. And will begin with the top of the batting order in the bottom of the 4th.
That's been in big part to who's at the plate, and Mila Hamlin. Every time that Ohio has been able to get a runner in scoring position, she shuts the door down, gets a jammed ground ball or a big strikeout.
Headed to second base here and into center field. So Ohio again goes without being retired in order. That'll be a base hit by Mila Hamley, the 7th for Austintown Little League.
I like the swings that I've been seeing from Ohio. They're just very short and they're working the dirt, working the line drives, not trying to do too much with lifting the ball. It's a nice hit up the middle.
Yeah, courtesy runner right now, and that'll be Tori Greathouse. Running for pitcher Mila Hamley. That allows the pitcher to get a little rest. They'll do the same for the catcher, by the way, if the catcher reaches base with 2 outs. Here's Ava Fisher. Popped up on the infield. It's going to be a tough play. Everybody's safe. Runner heading to third, and she's safe. Runner now going down to second, and she is safe. How about that? Safe everywhere. Iowa tried to get outs at first, second, and third, and just came up a second or 2 short.
This was chaotic. That's a lot going on here.
Let's begin with the fact that this is an infield hit.
This is a nice pitch from Hannah Haxton, and she gets a pop-up, but Iowa defensively just unable to run it down, and then an errant throw. You have Greathouse going from first to third, and then of course Ava Fisher slides into second base. So the ball doesn't even go past almost the pitcher's circle, and now Ohio has 2 runners in scoring position very quickly.
There was an elbow scrape on the play. Tori Greathouse is going to get a little help here. This Sunday, our next ESPN WNBA game, East versus West. Brianna Stewart averaging 23 a game for New York Liberty at 18-5 against NECA. Umo Mickey, who's averaging a double-double, and the Sparks of LA at 4 Eastern. Coverage tips at WNBA Countdown, 3:30 Eastern. As play resumes, second and third for Ohio with 2 outs in the inning. Tori Greathouse, the courtesy runner at third. Replacing Mila Hamley, and at second is Ava Fisher. Haven't seen a play in this tournament in which all 3 bases were contested, but there were no outs recorded. Only softball is, it's entertaining, man.
I will credit Ohio. Their base running is aggressive.
Oh, yes.
So you give them an inch, and they're going to take 2 bases on you very quickly.
Let's see if it leads to a couple of runs here with the runners in scoring position. Ohio has left 5 on base. Zara Burt, who already has a hit in this game to right field, is at the plate. All this activity started with 2 outs. 2-0 in favor of Ohio, the championship game in the Central region. And into right field is going to score 1. Going to score 2. Runner down to second is trapped. The idea is runner back to the base, and they do, and she's out. But Zara Burt gets a 2-run hit. Tori Greathouse scores, Ava Fisher scores. Ohio now leads 4-0. Very entertaining top of the 4th. Let's see now if Iowa can counter.